This case should never have come to trial.
I don't think it's fair to call my clients frauds. Because one time I turned into a dog and they helped me. Thank you.
Your Honor, we would like to withdraw our plea of not guilty and enter a plea of guilty.
This trial is a travesty. It's a travesty of a mockery, of a sham, of a mockery, of a travesty, of two mockeries, of a sham.
If we are to have faith in justice, we need only to believe in ourselves.
And the truth shall set you free!
How do you plead, guilty or not guilty?
Oh, guilty, but with a real good excuse.
I think the truth will come forth.
You can't handle the truth!
Hello, everybody. It's time for more Law Light, brought to you by Foreman Watson Holtree, FWHlegal.com. We are situated today in the library studio at the two-story white brick edifice on 530 Frederica Street. And we are not at Dee's Diner, so what we're going to do is we're going to pull off a double Dee's Diner, 2 in a row. Mm-hmm. We apologize to the folks at Dee's Diner, but our schedules this week just would not allow that to happen. So we're going to, knock off a quickie here and just that way we can honestly say, PJ, we've never missed a podcast episode, right? No matter what.
Right. We're actually taping this a day earlier than what we would normally tape.
Taping? That is old school.
Well, we're
laying it on the digitals.
We're doing our reel to reel today. And
yeah. So I got a couple things to say. Okay. First of all, the pre-recorded conversation that PJ and I had, we want to alert the world that we are not two people to be hung up on.
That's right.
PJ was sharing a story about something that happened this week and he was the person on the other end of the phone hung up on him
twice.
And we you and I are like bipolar in a lot of ways, right? Like totally different individuals.
Oh, yeah.
But brother, we share the vitriol, total I cannot handle someone hanging the phone up on me.
Oh no,
it sends me from 0 to 100.
I won't be angry at all. And if you hang up on me, I will be angry.
I know. If there's anybody that listens to the show that is allowed to diagnose psychiatric or psychological conditions, and there is a word for what's going on with us about being hung up on, I need to know that diagnosis, and I need to know how to deal with it because I cannot cope. I can't.
Hungophobia. Wait, never mind. That's a bad one. That's why I'm not a doctor.
Well, or an English teacher.
Yeah, that's true. Mom, apparently I'm afraid of things that are hung
up.
Yes.
On. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm sure there's like a Latin term for being hung up on.
Yeah. Well, I've got story after story that I could tell you, much like the one you shared with me, where it's like, what did you just do? Like, it's like, it's like, you didn't.
At that point, you can't even
think rationally.
Well, not only that, but you can't even express your displeasure with the person,
right?
Because they gone.
Cut it off.
They're gone.
That's right. So anyway, that's a great way to kick off this episode. We're serving everybody notice that if you hang up on us, there will be a price to pay.
We're asking someone to diagnose what we consider to be like something that's potentially wrong with us.
Maybe.
When in reality, all we want to do is finish out a conversation like an adult. And if you get down to the bare bones of the situation, someone who hangs up during a conversation,
they have the psychological.
Right, they are incapable of handling the stress of having to deal with what.
So they're hitting the ejection button.
They can't face whattever's happening in front of them. So they're just
taking the ejection button.
Yeah, taking the easy route, they're punching their own ticket.
They're jettisoning themselves up out of the conversation.
Right. And and I'm sure it's also a control move because it's like, oh, look who's really in control here. But really, it's showing a lack of control because you're incapable of finishing what you've started.
Yeah. Absolutely. Well, I appreciate that because I think you're right. And so here we are, two fellas not to be hung up on.
That's right.
Right.
Don't hang up on
Don't hang up on us. And don't hit pause on our podcast either.
Ben, if you're ever calling in on the net, don't hang up on us as a joke.
Don't hang up on us as a joke.
Don't hang up.
All right. Well, several things. We got some good feedback actually from my cousins about the podcast about the case.
Awesome.
Yeah, let me see. We'll just read a few of those comments real quick.
Have any of them said, "Look, it's been like 7 episodes since you first announced that
quit
we're
tricking us, Travis. You're not really going
it's like,
to.
How long are you going to drag this out?
No,
this whole
we're
situation.
going to talk about that today.
Choosing which one is the best.
We will address that today. But you've got to read. Hold on. You got to hear my. Let's see here. Cousins hotline. There it is. My cousin Darren. Good case details, Travis. I think the jury made the right call as well.
Agreed.
I hope there's no appeal. Agree.
Yes.
I think justice has been served and it needs to go away for all the parties involved. I think that's an astute observation of the.
Very much so.
Okay. And so I wrote back to him. He also said.
When are you choosing the favorite
Yes,
cousin?
he said yeah. He said yes. He definitely seemed shifty, and that's a nice way to put it. He had some ulterior motives for sure, I believe. So that was also the same cousin. Mm-hmm. My cousin Ernie, who is obviously Kendall's favorite because he's the only one she can name. His observation after listening to the last podcast was, "Hey, it was too bad your clients had to go through all they did. Wish they could get money from him." And I was like, yeah, that would be nice if we had a loser pays type situation where we got all the attorney's fees or something paid. So those two commented, and a few other people had just done the like thing, And so anyhow, today is the day. Today is the day that I am going to ask you to help me pick the favorite cousin.
Now, do we have to choose it today?
Well, no. We're going to lay out the bios.
Okay.
Now, I'm the unique cousin because I was an only child. So I have 7 cousins. All right.
Right.
Each of them have 6 because they have a sibling. Does that make sense?
Yes.
They have one sibling. So I have, and this is what's unique, is I'm the only one of the bunch that have 3 male cousins and 3 female cousins. All right. The rest of them have some odd number. They'll have 3 males and 2 female. But I have 3 and 3. Okay.
Okay.
Because with them having a sibling, they only have 5 cousins, where I have 6 cousins. All right.
Sorry, John just walked by and he was smirking, giving me this weird look.
Yeah, he probably thinks that we're talking about him.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah,
he walked in and he asked me if we had talked about him in the previous episode. And I'll be honest, for a split second, I couldn't remember. And then he reminded me that we did. So I think he was trying to catch me.
Yeah.
And it turns out that he couldn't because my memory's bad.
He's really been struggling a lot since his little rendezvous.
Oh, has he?
Right,
I didn't ask him about that. That's true. He look.
See?
Yeah, he knows. He knows. He's sitting there drinking out of a red Solo cup.
Probably trying to drink on the job.
Probably.
Yeah,
well, it's
we
a
need
good.
to check him. We have stairs.
We do have stairs,
but we don't have a doggy gate.
No, he'll just smack his face into the
concrete pillar,
into the
wall.
emergency exit.
Okay, so back to what we were doing. I have 3 male cousins, 3 female cousins.
Yes.
I'm going to run down it real quick from oldest. I've already done this, but Lisa is my oldest cousin, female, obviously. I hope. And then, I never got any clarification, so I'm going to have to ask for clarification. The next, it's either Darren then Ernie or Ernie then Darren. And I know there's a very small period of time between the two, but I never can remember which came next.
I don't think age is going to factor in as to who is the coolest.
It's okay. And then after them comes my cousin Shane. And then after Shane comes Sarah, and then the baby is Cheyenne. Okay? So that's the 7. Now, what I'm going to do is you pick the question that needs to be answered about all 6. Okay? So you can ask me, what do they do for a living? You can ask me which one, it could be something off the wall, and I may not even know the answer, right?
Now, are you going to go back and ask each of them?
No, I'm going to try to answer it right now.
Oh, okay.
So you come up with a question, and then because I'm going to let you build the bio, okay? I'm going to let you build the bio.
Well, here, who's the funniest?
Okay, so you're going to kick this back over to me, right? So I will say this. They all have a great sense of humor. I mean, some of the stuff that gets posted on our, but I will say that I think we would all agree. I think like if you were to poll the other cousins, that all of us would agree that my cousin Shane has the sense of humor, okay? Like he keeps, when we are together, he'll say and do stuff that just, it's off the wall or just totally inappropriate, or, you know, just so Shane has the of the group the best sense of humor, or but all of them are it's a lighter group to be around. It's not a heavy group to be around, okay? So, and that's one of the things I've been blessed with my cousins. Is funny people, right? But Shane takes the cake. He's always doing stuff like, you know, like, well, you know, Grandma always said that I was the favorite cousin, you know, and just the favorite grandchild, you know, and and so of course that's not, and then he'll drop in something, yeah, well, I have Grandma so and so, and we're like, you do not, like, you know, she had done all these favors for him, you know, and just it's just kind of, he just always.
So he's making up a grandmother.
Oh, making up stuff. Yeah, right. Making up all these lies, right? We say that he's the chief liar of the group. I mean, he'll say I am, but that's not true. That's not. He outlies me. Okay.
So he's already lying.
He's already lying. Yeah. So
now, did I jump the gun? Were you going to give me bios and then I was supposed to ask questions?
No, you were supposed to ask me the question to build the bios.
Oh, okay.
So you can ask any question like, where do they live? What, I think I've answered that one, but anything else?
Yeah, in the last podcast.
Shane is probably the sense of humor winner of the seven.
Who's the most interesting?
Ooh, wow.
I mean, obviously, politically, they're all interesting in their own right, but.
You know, each of them have things to make them interesting,
right? But who lives the most interesting life? You can't say yourself because
right. Yeah. I one of the things that I think makes somebody interesting or have interesting perspective is if they've traveled the world, because they've seen so many different things, different culture, different things like that. So I think that opens you up to lines of thinking that you've not even thought you could have, okay?
Right.
And so my cousin Lisa, who is married to a guy named Sean, she and their family have done a lot of traveling, both in and outside of the United States. Lisa also really takes time to get to know people and wants to know their story, you know, and because when she's one of those people that when you're around her, you don't realize it, but she's asking you 50,000 things about yourself and you walk away and say, I didn't find out anything about her, right? You know, she's that kind of person because she takes that information. So again, it's not a knock on any of them because they all have, like I have a cousin, my cousin Shane is incredible at Texas Hold'em, like really good, like you know, and he is also he is a very accomplished hunter. He's unbelievable. He also he finds wild ginseng and he finds the mushrooms that you're allowed to eat, you know, like he knows the difference, right? He walks fields and finds arrowheads and stuff like that. So he's a very interesting fellow because he has a lot of these hobbies that he's got the patience of Job. I'm telling you, man, he has got patience. He can walk and walk and walk just to find one broken arrowhead for hours, you know.
Oh, wow.
So Shane, I mean, they're all interesting. My cousin Darren was in the military, very knowledgeable about guns and things like that. So they're all interesting, and I don't want that to be a knock. But probably I would say overall, just because of some of the world experiences, probably Lisa.
Okay. Did any of them vote for Trump?
Oh, boy. You know, I think that may be one of the reasons we have a special group because while sometimes politics comes up, our grandmother was a person who sought unity, you know, as opposed to division. I know that most of my uncles initially were Democrats. I think all but one may now I think there's 2 Democrats, 2 Republicans. The kids, I think, have there are some Republicans, some Democrats. And I don't know the answer to this. This is something they'll have to let me know. But I would guess that Lisa voted for Trump. I would guess that maybe Ernie voted for Trump and that Darren voted for Trump.
Okay. It's going to be interesting when they listen to this to see.
We've not discussed that. That shows you we have not. And this is not me.
Right. And here's the thing. None of that actually factors in. I just thought it would be a funny question.
It is a funny question, and it's funny because
I'm not going to judge them.
Probably the
reason. Let me put it that way.
It's probably the reason that we're so close is because that type of conversation would not divide us. You know what I'm saying? I think
it shouldn't.
And I think we recognize that honestly, in the last election, we didn't have very good choices either way.
Right.
You know?
I agree. Well, in the election when it was between Trump and Hillary, I didn't think either candidate was someone I would want to be president, but had I voted, I'd have voted for Trump just because it's somebody different. And I felt like he stood for something different. He wasn't a politician. I don't necessarily agree with what my decision would have been after the fact. So I did vote in the next election, but still, I'm not going to judge anyone for having voted for Trump because I understand.
And I wouldn't.
The purpose behind
really don't know. I mean, I know maybe the leanings politically, but how strong those are, I really don't, So I will tell you a few things. Growing up, I spent more time with Ernie, Darren, and Cheyenne.
Okay.
We played a lot of like backyard wiffle ball together, sports, that kind of thing. I didn't spend as much time with Lisa, even though she and I are closest in age. But when I did spend time with her, it was quality time. Like she and I remember one time while my grandma was away at work, we bought her flowers and made her like a steak dinner and brought her home and let her massage her feet and things like that. It was so when Lisa and I did get to spend we played cards a lot together. But the most time I spent would have been with the other 2. Cheyenne was around a lot, and we picked on her because she was the baby. Cheyenne's going to tell you that I shot her with a BB gun. And I did not. There was not a BB in the gun. It was. I just pumped it with air and like shot her foot or her leg with.
And so she got hit by the force of that air coming
and
out.
She said, Travis shot me with a BB. I got in trouble.
Is that
I got
why
in trouble.
You were recently asked by someone else?
No,
as to whether or not you shot them with a BB?
I knew you would put the 2 together. No.
Well, there's a common denominator here, and at some point you have to ask yourself.
I don't believe I did. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
The alleged BB.
So Cheyenne, we always picked on her and stuff. Cheyenne was very athletic. I guess it's safest to say that as far as accomplishments in athletics and sheer athletic ability, that Cheyenne probably was the most athletic of all of us. And she was the youngest. I mean, she's one of those that can just run, and I don't know if she still can, but she could do flips, cartwheels, round offs, and all that stuff. And her her daughter, my cousin, her daughter Callie, is the same way. She's been to national competitions doing all that stuff. But Cheyenne was good at every sport she played and was very athletic. So Cheyenne is now works as a realtor and broker. She has done incredible in that area. So that's a little bit more on Cheyenne. So.
What do the rest of them do for a living?
Lisa works in a lab. I don't know her exact position. She has a degree.
Do you know what kind of laboratory she worked? Like phlebotomy or
like blood lab, I think.
Okay, so she's a phlebotomist.
She's a phlebotomist.
Phlebotomist.
Don't know what her degree is actually. I know that she graduated with a college degree, and works. Again, I'll be corrected by that.
Right. She could be a geneticist, creating dinosaurs.
Yeah, I think that's it. I think that's what she does.
I hope so, because we need some dinosaurs in our life.
Ernie works for the state of Indiana. In one of their the big thing is it's like their Wi-Fi capabilities statewide. He has something to do with all that and the Wi-Fi.
Oh, that's cool.
Darren works as a plant maintenance manager. I think it's Pepsi, a big bottling plant, I think. Then there is Sarah, who Sarah is a cosmetologist, does hair and all that. Had her own shop. I think she still has her own shop in that, and they're down in Florida. And then Cheyenne, I've mentioned. Shane is he works in shipping for Advanced Auto.
Okay.
He works out of Delaware, Ohio. So there you go.
Cool. So next to Lisa, you're the most successful.
Well, there's different ways of measuring success.
I'm kidding.
If success is defined as happy, I would say we've all accomplished that, because I think they're all of my cousins are happy.
I wasn't quite sure where that was going to go there for a second.
Right. There's a lot of different ways. I mean, a person could have nothing to their name but be the happiest person in the world.
That's
right?
true.
You have a person that has all these degrees and stress level out the wazoo. Are they really happy? I mean, they may, So I do think Ernie has a degree. Darren has it. I think I may have the most advanced degree. I'm not sure about that. But no, they're all very good at what they do.
I went to a 2-year college for 3.5 years for just so everybody knows, and I still didn't get my associate's degree.
It's
I'm like
degrees and
hours away from actually getting it.
Like I said, the best question you asked me is the most interesting. If you were to get to know them, they all are good, really, really, really good at something, which is not true about a lot of Americans, right? I mean,
you know what we should do?
What?
Instead of allowing me to choose based off of what you tell, we should bring each of them on the show individually and talk to them, and then I'll judge based off that.
So here's the deal: we'll see if they want to do that. We'll just call them, plug them in on phone, and let you interview them. Let me talk to them a little bit, and we'll do that, and it may and then at the end, whenever that is,
right. See, to me, that's the fairest gauge, is by speaking with them directly.
Okay. So here's the question, cousins: are you up for being a guest on the podcast? For being interviewed, and once all 6 of you are interviewed, then PJ will make the pick of the best, of the favorite cousin.
Just letting you know right now, if any of you say no
or hang up on us,
you're automatically the worst.
Bottom of the list.
You are the worst.
All right, well there it is. So that's a plan. I'll see how they respond. Okay. Anything else we need to talk about today?
Got open auditions coming up for our new project, New Fear's Eve, which is slasher film,
right? Because your last was 13 Slays Till Christmas.
Yes,
and then now you're going to have New Fear's Eve.
Right. We're not trying to hit every holiday.
I was going to say Valentine's will be your next one.
Yeah,
right?
I think we're going to go after Columbus Day and just finally kill it off entirely.
So now some of that's going to happen here at the office.
The auditions or the movie?
The auditions and the movie.
The auditions, yes. We're not 100% sure about. Here's the only thing that concerns me about shooting it here.
Okay.
There is
splatter of the blood.
Yes, there is a lot of blood. There's all kinds of different types of blood. There's blood for getting it on. I mean, there's blood that if we wanted to, we could pour it on the carpet and we'd be able to clean it out. But still, it takes a lot of work to get it out of the carpet, even though it's not going to stain it. And that's my biggest concern, is that everywhere here in this building, except for like a couple places, has carpet. Now, we're very accustomed to like having to tarp everything, walls, floors, all that.
Just adds to the work and the expense, though, doesn't it?
Yeah, so we're gonna look at a couple other spots.
Yeah, sure.
You're not gonna hurt my feelings. This we're not ruling it out. Now, I will say that we've had a knack for getting blood on the ceiling. What I've found is that with tile ceiling, no matter what kind of the blood you get on the ceiling, it ends up staining it. And we've actually had to, we almost had to purchase some new tiles for the, one of the locations we shot at previously, but they were like, don't worry about it.
Well, I understand. Obviously, I extended the invitation, but you being, cognizant of not wanting to.
Right. I don't want to
run up the bill.
Poop where I eat.
Right. I understand.
So
I got you.
But yeah.
All right.
June 25th and 26th for anybody listening. We're holding open auditions noon to 5 that Saturday. And then noon to 4 on Sunday. You gonna come in and audition?
I should, shouldn't I?
I'll probably give you a cameo in it anyway. So
Well, maybe I have acting skills you don't know of.
that's true. You may. That is very. I didn't think about it, but you're right. Then you'll get a bigger role.
That would be fun. I need to think about that. We will get an update from John on his 49er.
On him sleeping on the couch.
Yeah. Well, I'm talking about his client. We can't give out details about that, but
Right.
We'll have to kind of just circle around.
Oh,
that.
it took me a second to. Yeah.
And
Okay.
we got some updates on some cases and some things going on here at the firm that I'm kind of holding on to for a little bit until we know the direction things are going. So we'll have some announcements about that too.
Sounds good.
All right. Well, this has been Law Light, brought to you by Foreman Watson Holtry. As always, we appreciate PJ and his work with the podcast. If you need attorneys, we have many attorneys who are equipped to handle your needs. Just check us out on fwhlegal.com or any of our platforms of social media for more information about the firm. Until next time, thank you.
This case should never have come to trial.
I don't think it's fair to call my clients frauds. Because one time I turned into a dog and they helped me. Thank you.
Your Honor, we would like to withdraw our plea of not guilty and enter a plea of guilty.
This trial is a travesty. It's a travesty of a mockery of a sham, of a mockery of a travesty of two mockeries of a sham.
If we are to have faith and justice, we need only to believe in ourselves.
And the truth shall set you free!
How do you plead, guilty or not guilty?
Oh, guilty, but with a real good excuse.
I think the truth will come forth.
You can't handle the truth!